All right. Welcome again. So glad to see all of these folks in here. If you are able to be on camera, we would love to have that, because this is going to be more of a conversation today than a presentation like our other orientation calls. So if we're able to see your face, that would be wonderful. Also understand if that's not a possibility for you. So we would like to start off just by letting you all know that this is a very collaborative space that we're trying to build here today. This is something many, if not most of you, have attended one or more of our orientation sessions for your specific grant program at this point. This is a little bit different. This is going to be more of a conversation, and we want it to be interactive. So we're hoping that folks will bring their questions, use their voices, and participate today. With that, we're not going to have any slides. At one point, I think Rachel will share her screen, but other than that, we're all going to be looking at each other. So I just want to do a quick introduction, since we have a lot of new folks in the room today, so that we all know who's in here. I think let's go around and share your name, the organization that you're representing, and the grant program that you are, your organization is being funded through. It might be multiple. And one quick thing that you're really excited about with this summer being here. And I can go ahead and start, and then we can kind of go popcorn style. So I'm Sarah Joff. I'm a grant manager here at Buncombe County Partnerships Department. And I am one of two grant managers. England Johnson can speak here today, but she's another name that I'm sure you all are familiar with or will be familiar with. I am leading the charge on two of our grant programs, the Strategic Partnership Grants and Isaac Coleman Grant Programs. So if you have either of those.
Let me try the chat.
Is it not working?
Okay, I will take the microphone for a moment while Sarah troubleshoots. My name's Rachel, and I'm Sarah's colleague, Rachel Sawyer-Nygaard, and I work for Buncombe County in strategic partnerships. And one of my favorite things about summer is tomato sandwiches. I have tomatoes in the garden at home that are not quite giving tomatoes ready for sandwiches, but that's classic summer for me. I heard Sarah say popcorn style, so I will choose someone and then let you pick someone else to pass to afterwards. I will pass to Shavonda.
Okay, how did I know that you were going to pass it to me, Rachel?
You had that
I just had this feeling like I'm next.
Glimmer in your eye.
But I'm Shavonda Harper. I'm here representing the Southside United Neighborhood Association. What I like about summer is that it's my birth month, and I brought the sun back from Florida on the Sunday of June 25th, if anyone hadn't noticed. It's been hot ever since. So, but yeah, I love summer because it's my birth month, June. And that's when a lot of folks get out and just really be outside. So I like being outside and just enjoying good weather. And I don't know if there were any other prompts.
That's good. Who you are, who you're with.
But if not, I'm gonna go to that dynamic duo right there at Black Wall Street, Jay and Bruce.
What's up, Shavonda? You know it's party time. It's summer now. It's party time. Anyway, I'm Jay, and we're with Black Wall Street. We're grateful for the Strategic Partnership Grant. What I love most about summer is crab legs and seafood. Actually, not just seafood.
Lord have mercy.
These peaches on the side of the road in South Carolina at Abbott's Farm.
Oh, Lord.
If ain't nobody ever had them, you need to stop. I just go right over the border in South Carolina, get one of those peaches from South Carolina. They are amazing. Right between here and Greenville.
All right. That's what it is. Okay, awesome. Oh, no, I want to try them peaches. I'm looking for it. And Bruce with Black Wall Street, looking forward to hearing about everybody's story and looking forward to the work that we will do together and how we can help achieve and change the community all collectively and working in synergy.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, do I supposed to pick somebody?
We can hear you, Sarah. And yeah,
Okay,
if
great.
you would popcorn on to the next person.
All right, let me hoop it to my bro, Philip Cooper.
Bless up, everybody. Philip Cooper with Operation Gateway, Isaac Coleman grant. And it's special to me because I knew Isaac Coleman personally. And so to be receiving a grant in honor of him, you know, is a big deal. As far as summertime, I don't really like the summer because I prefer cold. But I have started biking. It's a group of Black bikers that started up biking here in Asheville. Y'all catch us outside. How about that? So that's one of the things we doing now. And so that's a good thing that we doing in the summer. And then I got Libby with me.
Hey, I'm Libby Fisher. I'm on the board of Operation Gateway. And I'm a crazy for summertime tomatoes, watermelons, peaches, you name it. But I also hate the heat.
And let me popcorn. I see my bro over there at YTL, Mr. Thomas. What's happening then?
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Damon Thomas. I'm representing YTL training programs. I will say one thing I love about the summer is the pool, being around water, and I'll say, yeah, just the pool. Yeah, and my pronouns are he, him, they, and I'm going to pass it off to, let me see, Laura. Okay, maybe not, okay, maybe not Laura. Bay.
Yeah, I think Laura's frozen for now. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Bay Samadal. I'm also with YTL Training Programs. And one thing that I really like about summer is probably just summer camp in general. YTL does after school and summer. And so it's just a different feel of like having the kids all day and then just getting to do just a lot more activities, a lot more field trips. That's what I'm excited about. And I'm gonna popcorn it to, let's see, Patricia.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Patricia Serrano. Estoy acá por Sur Biblioteca Móvil, un proyecto que estamos iniciando este año con mi compañera Dulce Miriam Porras, que está acá en la llamada. Muy emocionadas de estar acá.
So we're very excited to be here and learn about all the projects that you're doing. One thing that I love about the summer is hiking in the mountains, and going in the river water, even though it's freezing in North Carolina. And maybe something a little bit about our project I can tell you is that we're creating a mobile library in Spanish and in native languages from Latin America in order to give Latin American and other language speakers from Latin America the ability to read in their own languages.
Se lo voy a pasar a Dulce.
And I'm going to pass it to Dulce.
Gracias, Patricia.
Thank you, Patricia. My name is Dulce Miriam Porras. My pronouns are she. I'm here and very excited to launch Sur Biblioteca Mobile with the Tipping Points grant. And I'm really excited to see several beautiful people continuing to do this work. And I'm also really happy to see the county continuing to fund and work with community projects and to be inclusive of other languages. So my compañera, my coworker here, did a great job presenting ourselves, and we're Southern Mobile Library, and we are really excited to be able to connect with other really great projects and continue joining and uniting communities. And I will pass it on to, let me see. 1 minute. Peter? Peter, and I'm not sure how to pronounce their last name. Lewski?
You don't have to try. It's Robleski. I'm Pete. Great to see everyone. I'm with On Track Financial Education and Counseling, and we are engaging strategic partnership and early childhood grants. About summer, it's even more of a spring thing, but I love bird watching. That does extend into the summer, so I'll go with that. And I will pass it to Norma.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see all of you. My name is Norma Baines, and I am with the Shiloh Community Association. I'm the liaison. Our grant program is the Neighborhood Matching Grant, and I'm so happy about summer as I get to visit all my family, and they're out of school, and it's just fun. And I will pass it on, and I'm not sure how to do this. Sarah, have you been? I'll pass it to Sarah.
All right, I think that is back to me, and I will try again now with hopefully good audio. All right, perfect. Sorry about that, folks. I'm Sarah Joss. I'm a grants manager at the county, and I work specifically with Rachel and Angelin on managing the Strategic Partnership Grant, as well as the Isaac Coleman Grant. So very familiar with many of you so far, and happy to see so many new faces on this call as well. One of my favorite things about summer, I've heard this from a couple people so far, is just being in water. Any body of water, I just love to dip my toes in it, sit in it. It's just my happy place. And I will pass to Jamie, who is working wheels on the screen.
Hello, I'm Jamie from Working Wheels. It's good to be here with you all, so many familiar faces, and I love the beach, any kind of beach really, and really I'll take just body of water. Actually, we could get even more general than that. So I do love the summer, and because those kinds of trips make more sense. And I'm here, it's the Strategic Partnership Grant that brought me to this call, and I will pass it to Betsy. What's up, Betsy?
Hey, Jamie. I didn't know Working Wheels was somebody I knew in that small screen. Hi, all. I'm Betsy Stockslager. I'm with Buncombe County Schools, BCS Learning Labs. It's through the Early Childhood Grant, and something I love about summer is just family time, spending more time with the family. So that makes me happy. I'm gonna pass it over. Let's see, Heather, I see you.
Hi, I'm Heather Dyfel. I work with Leaf Global Arts. We have a tipping point grant for field trips to Leaf Global. I'm looking forward, well, what I love is water also, anything water, paddleboarding, lakes, beach, anything. Let's see here. I don't know who hasn't gone at this point. Katie, did you go? Open Doors? I don't think you did. Okay.
Hey, I'm Katie Valeka. I'm the grants coordinator at Open Doors. And we have 2 grants with the county, the Isaac Coleman Grant. We just are going to be in our first year with them, and then a literacy pilot program grant. In the summer, I really like the fact that I can drink my coffee outside in the morning, and it's a little quiet. And I will pass it to, trying to see who hasn't gone yet. Do you want to raise your hand if you haven't gone and I can call on you? All right, I see Catherine Wheeler raised her hand.
Hey, sorry. Hey, I'm Kate. I'm with the Southside Community Farm, and we received a tipping point grant for our BIPOC only garden days to do some cool workshops. And the things that I like about summer, I think I'm gonna also have to go with the pool. I love the pool, especially after farming for the day. Jumping in the pool feels amazing. And yeah, can somebody raise their hand that hasn't been called on? Okay, I'll call on Maddie.
Hey everybody, I am Maddie with Equal Plates Project, and we received an Isaac Coleman grant and to do meals out of the Southside Kitchen, mostly over the summer. And someone already mentioned biking, but I'm gonna second that. Biking is something I'm newly getting into this summer and really enjoying exploring that way. Okay, let's see. I am doing this from my phone because I'm having technical difficulties, so I can't see everybody at once. Kate, can you help me call on the next person?
Call on Daniel.
Okay, Daniel from
Dan the man.
Thanks, Shavonda. Hey, everyone. Good to see so many familiar faces. I'm here with representing Operation Gateway, who received the Isaac Coleman grant. I heard lots of people talking about water. I'm glad I didn't get called on for a minute because I was just jumping out of a lake, an unnamed lake, let's say. So I love that about the summer. I also love being part of Operation Gateway, seeing visionaries like Coop put like the work into action, and some of the youth programs. This morning I was with Brandon Priester and Michael Hayes and about 50 youth, and it was just really inspiring. So grateful to be here. Thanks.
I think Lindsay had her hand up.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm with the Irene Wortham Center, and we got the early childhood grant for this year. I really am not a summer person. I don't do well in the heat. So one thing I do like about summer is all the fresh produce and everything, like everybody else said, and kayaking. I have no idea who has or has not gone.
Alex?
Alex, yeah.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm with Fostering Hopes. We work in the foster care field to do a variety of different programs to support young people and families who are involved in that area. We received a grant to help support our camp program specific for kids who are in foster care in Bentham County. And pool with my boys is a summer highlight for sure. And is there another hand to show, or am I?
I'll be happy to jump in here and make call on folks. It looks like Will, we haven't heard from you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Will Baxter. I work for Buncombe County in the Justice Services Department. And I am the Community Safety and Violence Prevention Coordinator, and we received a grant for a community-based public response to violence. I'm a country boy from South Carolina, and I love fishing in the summertime.
Thank you. Destiny?
Hey, I'm Destiny. Actually work for RHA Community Reentry, but I am contracted with Buncombe County. But I'm here today with Operation Gateway Board, and they received the Isaac Coleman grant. Whoop, whoop. And my favorite thing about the summer is water, of course. I'm from Cherokee, so we got all the rivers and fishing holes and all the good stuff.
Thank you. I'm skipping past Amy, who's mic and camera aren't working, but says hello from the chat. Glenn?
Hi everyone, I'm Glenn from the admin team of Black Wall Street, and I'm here for the Strategic Partnership Grant, and I'm grateful to be here. Thank you.
Jessica?
Hi, I was hiding. My name is Jessica Hooper. I am the foundation and grants accountant for AB Tech. So we've gotten a couple of grants through the county. And I agree with other people who do not like the summer. I don't do heat. And the only thing I like about summer is my birthday is next week. So with Shavonda, birthday month, and I like to go rafting, either Ocoee or Nantahala. We haven't decided which one we're gonna do, but that's my favorite summer activity. And then I'm in the house. So I don't want to melt.
Thank you for coming on camera. I know as an accountant, sometimes your comfort zone can be behind the scenes, but we're glad to have you here. I think we've got everybody. Laura, is your mic working? We see you, but we don't hear you yet. Okay, we will greet Laura, who is here representing the Shiloh Community Association. And when we see her next, she'll tell us what she loves about summer. Did we miss anyone? Great. I have the next section on the agenda. So Sarah, if you're good, I'll just take it on to the next piece. We love the connecting and the collaborating that happens between Buncombe County and our grantee partners and between grantee partners, and are glad to have given plenty of time to this relationship building and connecting piece. So again, hello, and again, thank you for being here. Setting the stage, we wanted to offer an opportunity for organizations or people that might be newer to the grant space, or just want to brush up your skills to get together and spend a little extra time talking about the managing of public funds and the various steps and activities that we'll encounter through Buncombe County's grants. So one thing that we presented during the kickoff call was some new tools that Buncombe County has rolled out on our website. And I'm going to cover these quickly before I pass the microphone back to Sarah to talk about kicking off everyone's projects. Let's see how effective I am at screen sharing. All right, can you see my screen? I see very few of you, so if you're giving a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So I have my website on buncombecounty.org/grants. And this is the normal landing page that you all would be accustomed to seeing, where you can click into each of the grant programs and learn more. The new content we've added is down below if you scroll down a little further. And what it says here is reiterating our commitment as the county to strong organizations. Not all nonprofits, not everyone on this call is a nonprofit organization. Many of these resources can also be helpful for public organization partners as well, although nonprofit is sort of the focus of these resources. I want to click on a couple just to demonstrate the kind of information that is here that you might find useful for yourself and that you might find useful to share with others within your organization, whether they're staff or board members. Some of the tools are designed to be concise and kind of checklist style. So one of those is this one called the Public Funding Readiness Checklist. And essentially, this is a one-sheet type document that you can use as a self-assessment if you are new to public funding or just kind of doing a status check. Where is my organization in terms of these sets of best practices? And it's organized by general, financial, governance, those types of categories, with some recommended pieces that your organization should have in place in order to successfully manage grants. This is not designed to go in depth. However, we do have another example of a document, which is the finance guide and workbook. I don't know if you can see on the top of the screen, but this is a 32-page document. And this is designed to be much more of an engaging, in-depth resource for you. I will flip back to the main screen in a second and refer to some videos that go along with it. But you can see it's organized by a table of contents. I'm going to scroll to the financial information. This is an example of a helpful resource within the financial guide. It describes the different roles. We've heard from people today who are board members who are on our call. We've heard from people who are here today who are in the role of executive director and other staff. And this is a great way for you to see how your role fits into the roles and duties of other people within your organization. So these resources are out there, accompanied by some videos, as well as links to other outside resources. We make these available to you to use on a self-service basis. And encourage you to go on and poke around and let us know if you find this information useful. Let us know if there are ways we can improve it. I'm fully aware that we've rolled these out in English without having the fully translated Spanish versions online yet. And we're sharing this during a call that's a multilingual space. So we know we have room to improve. If there are topics that you'd like to see included that we haven't included yet, give us some suggestions, or if you have questions and want to go through this information together rather than on your own, let us know. Sarah.
All right, thanks, Rachel. It's very exciting for us to have these materials available to provide to our community partners as something that could potentially be helpful in helping you navigate managing public funds, because we know that there is a lot of red tape and hoops to jump through and crossing of T's and dotting of I's. So we want to be as supportive as possible. So next thing that we want to talk about, you all have received your contract, either a draft or a fully executed version at this point in the grant process. But we kind of want to talk about what comes next in this cycle so that you know what to expect. So with your project implementation, some things to note. Your first report is due on October 15th. And we have quarterly reports for all of our grant programs except for our tipping point grants. Those submit 2 reports annually. So if you're a tipping point recipient, that October 15th date does not apply to you as your first report date. Everyone else, strategic partnerships, Isaac Coleman, and early childhood, that date does apply. So October 15th is when we will ask for your first quarterly reports. Angela and I are working on setting up those customized forms for each of your projects that we'll be sending to you. First thing is getting the contract executed, and then next we'll be sending out those reports to you where you can be filling in things like the narrative for kind of year to date, where your project is landing, where it's heading, things that you're noticing, some numbers. So you'll have the budget to actual to fill out there with your project budget, as well as potentially some other data information from your performance measures. We'll get into that in a little bit, but wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that October 15th first deadline. We're also going to be planning some site visits, gatherings, other opportunities to connect depending on the grant program that you're participating in. So our committees are still figuring out which grant programs will be participating in site visits. I think for those of you who received a grant last year, everyone had a site visit. And I want to note that site visits, that's a term that you might have heard as a monitoring practice. This is different. So when we're saying site visits, this is purely an opportunity for our committee or review team members to see the work that you're doing in action. So it's either coming to your place of work and taking a tour, hearing about some highlights of your project, potential challenges, or we might be able to do that virtually as well. That's TBD, so stay tuned for more information on that. We also want to have some gatherings. We hope to plan one this fall for our grantees so that you can all continue to get to know each other, connect, engage, and just have it be a really fun celebration of the work that everyone is doing, because I think that's really important. So those are things that are going to be potentially coming down the pike that you should stay tuned for. Another thing that we want to discuss, and Rachel showed that section of the finance guide that showed the different roles and responsibilities for financial management in an organization. But we want to make sure that everyone has really thought through the roles within your organization and who is participating in what ways to make sure that this grant project is successful. So some things that you can think about are who's in the programmatic role versus who is in the administrative role. So who's doing the accounting and making sure that all of the numbers are lining up, that your budget is correct, and that everything is able to be reported on at the end of the quarter, versus who is tracking the performance data and the performance measures and the impact of the work. And are you communicating with each other and making sure that everyone is in touch on the same page at all times? So those are some things that we would love for you all to think about, as well as the role that your board needs to play. So as Rachel said, we have some board members on this call today. We know that the board of a nonprofit is a governance, plays a governance role, and different boards have different roles and responsibilities within the organization. Do they have to approve grant budgets? Do they need to sign off on certain programmatic activities for your grant? So really be thinking through all the different roles and responsibilities that need to come together to make sure that your project is successful. So with that, I wanna pause to ask the group a question. If you can just raise your hand or raise your virtual hand, I think you can do that in Zoom with the reactions button. How many folks on the call today serve as the executive director of your organization? Okay. I see a handful of hands. What about those in a programmatic role? All right, a few of those. How many of you have a grant specific role? So you're a grant manager, accounting for the grant, writing grants. Okay, excellent. A good mix of folks in here. That's great. And just if anyone wants to kind of either drop it in the chat or unmute yourself and speak out loud. What are some of the ways that you might foresee yourself in your role participating in the grant process? Norma, I saw you unmute yourself.
Yes, when it comes to grant, usually I have another person working with me, Laura Lee, and we make sure that the grants go out, make sure about the reports. And also I'm responsible for some of the financial part of it to make sure that whatever we have in the grant, that's the money is used for. And make sure people, the right people get the money and that we keep an account of everything we do.
Sounds like you have a big role over there. Anyone else want to share quickly?
Puedo compartir.
I would like to
Pues
share. So in South, Patricia and I, we're gonna have to be taking all of the roles until we, start building up our organization and being able to structuralize the positions that we need to hold together every piece of the work. We have been learning a lot. I have a little bit of experience, but Patricia is going to just jump right in and start talking about the programmatic development of this community project. And also for me, it's going to be a new learning experience to know how can I, like to build up a better organization for my community and keep on working with language justice and having the right training so we can keep building up more programs and make them accessible as well.
Wonderful. And we know full well that no two organizations look alike. Every single one is different. So the roles and responsibilities are going to look different depending on your organization and the way that you operate. I like what Amy said in the chat about enjoying talking to program staff and learning about their plans and figuring out how she can help support them. I think that line of communication and just understanding who's doing what at any given time is really helpful.
Sarah, thank you for saying that no two organizations are alike, that we're all different. I think it's been a learning process through Buncombe County to realize that.
It's very true. I come from a nonprofit background and I learned that firsthand in my experience. So absolutely. I think at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel to talk us through some of the more technical details of expense tracking.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks everyone who chimed in, including Shavonda, who I appreciate your remark about learning. And we each in our various organizations and roles get better and better. And one of the things that I've committed to do, and we at Buncombe County have committed to do, is to try to be flexible and adaptive to those differences. One of the challenges we have as a county government is that we are operating within this really structured environment where those hoops that Sarah alluded to sometimes aren't up for discussion. Those strings attached to public funds and the requirements that come along with using funding in accordance with state law or federal, if you've got that, as a county, that we can't change. But what we do try to do is inspect and ask ourselves how we can accomplish this in a flexible way. So thank you for that feedback, and always feel free to have conversations, speaking up in settings like this, or texting me directly, or talking, getting a meeting with Sarah and saying what feedback you have about how we can continue to evolve. Documenting how the funds are used is one of those areas of requirements that comes along with public funds. And you heard us say during the kickoff call, we don't have a process where you've got to turn in every receipt to prove the use of every dollar in order to get paid. We, in fact, do some payments that are upfront. We've heard from a lot of your groups about cash flow needs and how reimbursement doesn't work best for you. And we've been able to come up with payment structures for you to get upfront funds. For some groups, it means money at the beginning of each quarter, as opposed to after the quarter's over. For other groups, there's been, maybe some upfront and some midway through the year. Regardless of whether you're paid upfront or reimbursement, that accounting looks the same. So you'll turn in your quarterly reports to us. Is that in my section? You'll turn in your quarterly reports to us, and it will show your use of funds according to your starting budget, but you won't attach proof that the funds were used in that way. The expectation is, though, that when a question arises, or if we contact you later for a monitoring, that you would be able to easily run a report or access those documents to show how funds were used. So if we were in a monitoring conversation, we might say, okay, it looks like you spent this amount for client support during first quarter, or this amount for training in the second quarter. Can you tell us about what that was? And show us the documentation. Maybe it was a contract, that's your documentation. Maybe it's invoices, maybe it's purchase receipts. We require organizations to account for the funds using fund accounting or some other method to restrict the funds. So you can't just dump them all into the grants bucket and spend. You have to hold them separate and be able to show this much was granted and it was used for these specific expenses. So having somebody who can work your accounting system or your spreadsheets in order to be able to demonstrate that use of funds is necessary. Having the receipts to back it up is necessary as well. It's best practice, and I would encourage you to be as clear as possible with that backup documentation, whether you're super sophisticated and you're uploading receipts to an online document system, or whether you have file cabinet file structures. The same guidance would be true, that marking the information. It can be as simple as taking a pen on the paper copy of the receipt and writing supplies. That way, when we see something that might not be self-evident, I'm trying to think of an example. it might be perfectly reasonable for one of your projects to purchase a toy or some toys because you're serving youth and it's a summer project and those are going to be used in the program. However, it might not be obvious to somebody from the outside looking in how toys fit. So showing this is either with your coding in your accounting system or with your pen on your receipt, that this was the use of the funds and how it ties to the grant. Basically creating your proof or your trail of documentation in case it's ever inspected. And I showed that checklist earlier that was maybe a little overwhelming, that had so many different policies and procedures that an organization might need to have. It depends on how you're using the funds. Are you spending the money for personnel? Then we would want to see a personnel policy. Are you spending the money for items that get handed out to clients? Then we might want to see an inventory policy so that we show how those items are stored and secured and how you know that they make it to the right place at the end of the day. I'm trying to think of what else I might want to specifically call out. We're coming up on a condensed, coming up on the end of the hour. I think what we do is skip to the performance and then changes to the contract before we wrap up.
Can do. So when we're talking about tracking your performance, this is another area that you all have agreed to in your contract. We reached out to everyone and asked you for your project activities, as well as some performance measures and goals for those performance measures. So those are all in your contract. And what will happen with those is they will get transferred over to your reporting workbook, which will be sent out to you. And you're going to be reporting on those each quarter, again, unless you're tipping point grantee, and then it's twice a year. To track that information, it'll be important to have some form of a data collection plan. And again, that's up to you and your organization what that looks like, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet documenting how many folks you've served in a quarter, whether that's in some other form of management software that you have that tracks that information. But it does need to be tracked so that we can make sure that when we're reviewing a report, that information is readily available. And it's, again, easy to you to just pull it up. Here it is, we have it ready. Another thing that you'll want to be tracking is your projections on your spending, as well as your progress towards your goals. So you might have heard progress towards spending as a burn rate, how quickly you're spending the funds down. Make sure that you have a way to accurately track that. Again, could be an Excel spreadsheet, could be in your accounting software. And then the progress towards goals. Obviously, you're going to be putting that information into your quarterly workbooks, reports, but you'll also want to be able to have a way to quickly check in and see what's the number, again, service recipients to date, the number of automobiles that have received repairs to date, and where is that compared to what the goal that we set for that performance measure. Another thing that we want to highlight is that you're able to share your stories. So that's both for us as a county, we want to be able to share the impact of your work in the community, but also for your stakeholders. How are you presenting your stories to folks? And that's something that I know most people working in the nonprofit sphere are aware of the impact of storytelling take pictures as your project is progressing. Get quotes from your service recipients or clients. That is all really helpful as we look to highlight the work that you've done over the year or years. And then we'll also talk about any changes that might occur during your period of performance. And this is something that we understand things change. We, again, want to be as supportive as possible if things do change. So want to just quickly go over what some of those changes might look like. One might be a budget change. So you're looking at your progress to date, at your burn rate, your projections, and you're seeing, oh, we're definitely going to overspend on this one line item for personnel. You can ask us for a budget change request to potentially transfer money from another line item to cover that overage of cost in the personnel line item. That is something that's granted on a case-by-case basis, but it does need to be requested in writing, so you can email me or Rachel or Angelin and let us know where you're at with your budget, what the request is, and we'll review it for approval. The other thing to keep in mind is contract amendments. So if there has been a significant change in the activities or performance measures that you initially came up with, you're halfway through your project and you see, wow, we are way behind on this goal. There was something that significantly threw things off track, something unforeseen, and we're going to need to kind of shift course with this or change that. Let us know. We can definitely talk through it and potentially make a contract amendment to update that performance measure and goal. The other thing that can potentially be changed is a payment structure. So the regular payment structure that you all have in your contract is going to be for quarterly reimbursements. So at the end of each quarter, when you submit your report, you're also going to be submitting your invoices for payment. And that is what you are asking for reimbursement for from the county for your work. If something changes with your cash flow throughout the project, and you think, oh, we need funds at the top of the quarter instead of on a reimbursement basis, or if we can potentially get a lump sum payout for the second half of our spending to cover costs. That is something that we can discuss with you and again consider on a case-by-case basis for approval. So want you to know there are options for that. Keep that in mind. But the biggest thing there is just communicate with us. Let us know where you're at with things and if you think you might need to request a change with that, we can help you. Anything else with that, Rachel, that you wanted to chime in on?
Given that it's after 4 o'clock, I know some of us are needing to switch over to other calls. I wanted to make sure that everyone here hears our gratitude for spending time with us today and for saying yes to something extra, which is over and above the requirements. It demonstrates that you're here to try to do the best you can with these funds, and we're here as partners with you in that. There's going to be a lot of other opportunities over the course of the year that you mentioned, Sarah, from the learning collaborative gatherings, site visits, etc. One thing that we really want to highlight and emphasize is those quarterly reports. That's your opportunity to give us something in writing that tells about your project. So yes, it's the invoice and payment documentation and the update on the performance measures And you can attach those stories. You can give us other photos, other information to include, and we'll make that information available to all the supporters who follow along with this work, to include the county commissioners, who are the ones that authorize these funds and are excited to invest in these community partners. Buncombe County goes above and beyond what we know many of our peer counties do with these community investments. We're really proud to be a part of a county that values the community work in the way that Buncombe County does. And we just really appreciate all that you do day in and day out in service to our community. So more to come throughout the year. We're going to get to closeout and all kinds of other good stuff that we didn't get to on our agenda today.
I also want to offer for anyone who still has questions that you didn't get to ask, because we ran out of time, I'm happy to stay after. We can stop recording and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all again so much for your time today. It was really good to see you all. And again, if you want to stay after and ask questions, I am here.
Thank you
Have
all.
a good evening. Thanks, Shavonda.
Okay. Gracias, adiós.
Adiós.
Thank you. Bye.